Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're taking a look at my MP15 diesels built by Atlas and decorated for Burlington Northern. You happen to notice that one of these is decorated as the Burlington Northern number 1000. I don't really like class engines, and I certainly don't like class engines whose road numbers end with 2 zeros and certainly not 3 zeros. And I also don't like the idea of taking victory laps on YouTube episodes for various accomplishments on YouTube itself. But here we are. The channel recently surpassed the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I'd like to say thank you for everybody who's joined and watched our videos and joined in by subscribing and getting involved, making comments and all that type of thing. We appreciate your love and support. There is still much work to be done and a lot to cover, so let's get to it. EMD built 5 MP15 DC end-cab road switchers in the mid-1970s for St. Louis and San Francisco Railroad, SLSF, or Frisco as it is commonly known.
Ship it on the Frisco.
Burlington Northern inherited the 5 1,500 horsepower road switchers when it absorbed the Frisco in 1980. They were painted green and initially numbered in their 4000 series. They eventually were bumped down to the 1000 series by new GEs arriving on property. These units are considered road switchers because they ride on the same Blomberg trucks that EMD Jeeps used at the time. This enabled the units to travel at mainline track speeds. MP15 DCs were essentially a GP15 and an end-cab switcher body. Per BN's practice, they stayed mostly on former Frisco home rails in Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Missouri, to name a few states. In HO scale, Athearn and Atlas produced MP15 AC and MP15 DC variants of the EMD 645 powered locomotive. Atlas produced this model in their silver line for Burlington Northern, Frisco, and several other road names. I picked up this Atlas silver model a very long time ago, perhaps 15 years ago. Shortly after that, I added DCC via Atlas's supplied 8-pin NMRA quick plug. I selected the Digitrax DH163P or PS mobile decoder that was my standard go-to decoder back in the day. I also added a rotary beacon using the Details West RB 106 detail part and a Miniatronics 1.5 volt 30 milliamp incandescent bulb. I used a 360 ohm quarter watt resistor between the decoder and the bulb. I powered the circuit off using the green wire, which is not terminate on the 8-pin plug. Then I programmed the lighting function to F1 as a rotary beacon simulation in JMRI Decoder Pro. Let's go to the shop and take a closer look at these MP15 locomotives. So we're here on the shop bench taking a closer look at these MP15 DCs. Again, the Blomberg B type trucks on here enable a little higher speed. Nice cabling detail in the underframe here. Fuel tank, filler, that looks like that needs to be painted. I missed that before. And I'm not sure, I'm not able to remember if I painted these side windows or not. These were basically a conglomeration of federal rules and economics. The railroad opted to plate those over instead of put bulletproof glass there. And again, the flashing rotary beacon simulation here on the top. This is available now. I mentioned it before that it's a Details West detail part, and that's what these are here. But this part is more commonly available now from Athearn. They have basically the same part that's the two-piece part with the base and the lens separate, and you still stick up the incandescent bulb inside there. And what I did is I mentioned that I have this is a Digitrax DH123, but I used one DH163 in these because the two functions, the two output functions are usable on that decoder where they're not on the 123. And effectively what you're doing to install this is plug into the supplied 8-pin plug. It's a solderless installation, so if you didn't really want to do anything else with the lights, you could just pop that in there and off you go. I mentioned that I used the green wire, so as you can see, this green wire does not terminate on that board. Neither does the purple wire. You could use either one of those, but I chose to use the green. I soldered a resistor in between there, again, like a 390 ohm or 360 ohm resistor at a quarter watt, and then that incandescent bulb, Miniatronics 1.5 volt 30 milliamp bulb, and then that sticks up inside that Athearn or Details West detail part with a little white glue, and you're off and running. And in fact, You do have to drill a hole in the cab top and do a little disassembly, reassembly to get that to work, but it works. As you can see out on the railroad, it works great. It looks great. Taking a little closer look at the engine itself. These things come with the Accumate, the split type couplers. I replace those, as I do on just about every model, with KD couplers. I'm not going to put up with basically anything besides these. They function the best, they work the best, they look the best. And then on to the rest of the model here. Radiator section, you can see the screen is done well here for the output of the radiator. Dual stacks, exhaust stacks. On the pilot here, we've got a screen over where there actually is the decal painted or decal applied to what is the shutters behind the screen, the radiator screen, number boards, headlights, pilot detail with MU hoses, train line hose, cut levers. I suppose that cut lever needs to be painted to highlight the white. Not sure about that. And then, of course, on the other side here, you've got separately applied wire grab irons on the engineer side of the model. Again, this would be, so F is designating the front. So in this case, the long hood was forward, and that was the standard on almost every end cab switcher that ever went into production or that ever came off the line. Your striping decals on the other end and your same pilot details. And essentially, that's your locomotive. I'm guessing that green MP15s didn't appear in Iowa, South Dakota, or Minnesota until well into the BNSF era. But these are nice models, and I'm still pleased to have them on my roster. They operate quietly and smoothly as you'd expect from an Atlas model. I'll probably use them as a pair or mixed with other BN end-cab switchers in the Sioux City yard from time to time. So this is the part of the video where we've reached the time to pull the pin. Again, thank you for your patronage. Your viewership, comments, and love keep this channel moving forward. I hope you'll check back for more content like this. Leave us a comment about your green end cab switchers and other BN inherited Frisco power.